Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, August 2nd, 2024. As we speak, there is a football game on tonight.
No way.
There will be only one more Thursday without football until Week 18. That is August 29th, which is the week between the end of the preseason and the season opener.
Sick.
Yeah.
Is it the Hall of Fame game tonight?
Yes, it is. Bears-Texans.
I haven't seen anything on social media about that.
Yeah, nobody's really talking. Like, I saw a couple people post about it like at midnight, being like, there's a football game on today. But it's like, nobody's really going to post about it until, like, I don't know, somebody probably gets, like, a targeting call or
Yeah.
somebody dies on the field in the preseason, and it's some, like, fifth stringer we've never heard of. Yeah, there is a football game on today.
Yeah, and it is the first preseason game
Yes.
for those teams, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
First preseason game for everybody. But yes, those two are playing tonight. The MLB Trade Deadline is come and gone. Tons of moves. Talking about pretty much all of them. All of them that at least like matter. That happened after me and Colin recorded on Sunday.
Yeah.
That is so we've got a lot of trade
I can say one thing. I'm very glad that the Yankees didn't give up Nestor Cortez for Jack Flaherty.
Okay.
Very
Fair
super glad.
Fair enough. Premier League opening day. Just 2 weeks away.
Yes.
As the people hear this episode. So transfer news definitely heating up. Other news definitely heating up as well.
Yep.
Other news that's happening outside of soccer, Mike Trout will miss the remainder of the season with another torn meniscus.
Was he the one that a couple days ago it was like he faced a setback in his rehab and they didn't want to say what it was?
Yep.
And here it is.
Yep. Torn meniscus, out for the rest of the season. What a surprise. Mike Trout's hurt.
Should he just retire?
I'm not ready for this conversation. I'm not ready to have that conversation yet.
Oh man.
I hope we never have to have that conversation.
What's crazy is he keeps coming back and he's good for like a couple months.
He's good. I don't even know.
Maybe not a couple months. Yeah.
Maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know. I don't want to imagine a world where Mike Trout retires right now.
Yeah.
Because then he really does just follow that Mickey Mantle career path.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what he's going for, except no World Series.
Yep.
One playoff game. Another injury that happened to a prominent player that I guess some people might ask if he should retire. DeAndre Hopkins missing 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury. Very interesting. I think that does shake things up for the Titans.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because obviously he is missing a game, at least one. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there. I think if he comes back quickly and he's good to go, there won't be a problem. But, like, if they're without him for, like, the first 2 games, I could see them slipping up.
Really?
I know that they have Ridley and Tyler Boyd to help them out, but with a new offense, and he's the only receiver in this receiving core that your quarterback has played with before this season.
That is true, yeah.
That's a big deal.
Definitely a big deal.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens with D-Hop. But lots of stuff to get to. So, MLB Trade Deadline, of course, is what we'll start off with. Then we've got our AFC East Preview, which is going to be a fun one. And then we've got a little bit of transfer news. Not everything, just a couple of things that I've seen that have kind of transpired over the past, 2 days, really. And then hopefully questions time. Nathan, as of right now, has not submitted questions. So we'll see what happens.
Can he hit the buzzer beater? Maybe not.
I hope so. I really hope he does. All right. Let's begin with the MLB Trade Deadline, and we'll start. The Rangers acquire catcher Carson Kelly from the Tigers for 2 prospects.
Interesting.
I understand this move. This is a depth move for sure. I don't know if the Rangers are really in a position to be like buying.
Yeah.
I think they're in such a middle ground right now where it's like maybe we should just see if we can work with what we've got.
Well, maybe not go for a catcher, right? Like out of all positions.
Yeah, I guess is Jonah Heim still hurt? I know he got hurt at some point this year. I don't know if he's still hurt. I'm gonna be honest. We haven't heard about the Rangers at all.
No. No Corey Seager, Marcus Semien.
They just hosted the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about them.
Where is
whatsoever.
Evan Carter?
Evan Carter is not very good right now. Wyatt Langford is in the same boat.
Yeah.
Semien and Seager are just doing average shit. Oh, Jonah Heim's on the paternity list. Congrats.
Oh.
But okay, so I guess they do need Carson Kelly for now. Yeah, I don't hate it. They didn't give up big prospects, and like Carson Kelly's not like a a huge needle mover.
Yeah.
But he's a good catcher that has been in the league for a little while. Next move, though, I do like. The Royals acquire Michael Lorenzen from the Rangers for left-handed pitcher Walter Pennington. Michael Lorenzen is the kind of arm that can just, like, he'll help you out. Like, he'll have some moments for the Royals when it comes to this, like, big playoff push that they're going to have here. He's an arm that could be, like, somebody that emerges successful.
Yeah, and they need any kind of inch they can get because, Bobby Witt has been ridiculous since All-Star break.
And they have to keep helping him out. I think he didn't reach base in like one game this month, something like that, something ridiculous.
He's making me eat my words for sure.
Yeah, I never had anything bad to say about him. I just said that Colin glazes him, which is still true, but it is now necessary glaze. Is that? That sounds wrong. I don't think there's such thing as necessary glaze. Next thing, though, the Reds acquire Ty France and cash from the Mariners for Andrew Salcedo. This one's interesting to me because it's clear that Ty France was out of favor for the Mariners. And it's just weird to me that, like, okay, I understand the Mariners picking up Andrew Salcedo. I think that's a good move, getting depth at catcher. But the fact that they had to give the Reds Ty France and cash is crazy.
Yeah.
2 years ago, Ty France was an elite hitting first baseman.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Ty France, but he has fallen off a cliff. But I like this move from both sides. It gives the Reds more depth in the infield, but veteran depth.
Yep.
And then for the Mariners, depth at catcher can always help you out because your catchers do need a break.
Yeah, I like the Reds getting a vet in there for sure.
Agreed. And he can play first and second, which is nice. Next, Red Sox acquire Quinn Priester from the Pirates for Nick York. I think this is a fantastic move for the Red Sox. Quinn Priester he's got like all the talent. It's just he's a little bit older than most of your young pitching prospects, and I think he just didn't quite fit in this rotation that the Pirates have. But when he was coming up, he was the talk of the town for them. It was like him and Mitch Keller were like running beside each other essentially through the minors, and then Mitch Keller kind of just left him behind. And now Quinn Priester, I think he's like 26, and he's never really gotten like a huge shot at the league.
Yeah.
So I think with the Red Sox, he can anchor that rotation and potentially live up to what we've been waiting for, which is a fun thing to look for. And then Nick York is a guy who came up for the Red Sox and has done fine, I would say is how I would describe Nick York's time so far. But he was also another guy who was a relatively promising young player, and now he'll probably get a chance to start, maybe just play regularly for the Pirates.
Yeah. Red Sox are annoying this year, man.
They're in a position where like they could fuck around and win some games.
Yeah, literally. And I think pitching help definitely gives them some help for sure.
Yeah, this next team is not fucking around, but they are winning games. The Dodgers.
Yeah.
In a 3-team trade, they acquired Tommy Edman, Michael Kopech, and Oliver Gonzalez. The Cardinals acquired Eric Fetty and Tommy Pham. And the White Sox get Miguel Vargas, Gerald Perez, Alexander Albertus as well. First of all, the White Sox got fleeced for everything that they have, which is nothing. And the Dodgers somehow inadvertently pick up a pretty solid utility infield outfielder in Tommy Edman, who at times has been an all-star.
Yeah.
Michael Kopech, who has all the talent in the world and has been so good since he's transitioned into a relief role. And then Oliver Gonzalez is just like a solid bullpen arm. The Dodgers, and we're going to talk about the other moves they made, they had a fucking hell of a deadline.
Yeah.
But they do this all the time. Like, they always have such a good deadline. And, like, they've won one World Series, and it was in 2020.
Yeah.
So I have to take everything they do with a grain of salt.
ALDS at best.
I know.
Sorry. I know.
It'd be way crazier if they made the ALDS than the World Series.
I feel right.
The Cardinals, look, I get it. They're going to try and win some games. Eric Fetty and Tommy Pham probably doesn't win you games, particularly. But I'm sure it'll help a little bit. And then the White Sox, welcome to Nashville. That's where I'm at with the White Sox. And at the end of all of this, we'll talk a little bit about Garrett Crochet's situation. The Mariners acquire infielder/DH Justin Turner from the Blue Jays. So just after the Mariners go and get Yimi Garcia out of their bullpen. They're like, you know what? Let's just take one of their veteran hitters as well and go kind of double dip on the Blue Jays and get Justin Turner. Look, Justin Turner does not do much for this lineup, but he provides somebody that, like, if somebody goes down, put him at third or put him in the DH role and, like, let him run wild. See if he can hit a couple bombs, get a couple doubles maybe.
Yeah.
But, like, at this point in his career, he's not, like, an everyday starter.
No.
The Guardians acquire Lane Thomas from the Nationals for 3 prospects. That is a huge pickup. Lane Thomas has kind of flourished this year. He's always been, like, promising, pretty good young player. Then he became, like, everyday starter, staple starter for the Nationals. They're just so bad that, like, he got to the same point where a lot of the people that get traded at the deadline are that are relatively young players, which is like, I got too good to be playing every day for nothing.
Yeah.
Is what Lane Thomas has done. And he's a huge threat on the base path. He's a fantastic at stealing bases, great range in the outfield. Like, I don't see why every other team wasn't going after him as well, but the Guardians definitely got a good one that is, like, an important piece for them heading into the postseason because they'll likely be there.
Yeah.
The Astros acquired Yusei Kikuchi from the Blue Jays for 3 prospects. This one, I think it's just a matter of they need to get some kind of consistency in that rotation.
Yeah.
The Astros have struggled with that this whole year. They're finally turning things around, but it's nice to have an experienced veteran, a left-handed pitcher at that, in this rotation to just help out.
Yeah.
So I don't hate that deal whatsoever. The next one I do kind of like for the Brewers. They acquired Frankie Montas from the Reds for Joey Weimer and Jacob Eunice in cash. I don't think the losses of Weimer and Eunice is really going to hurt them all that much. And the upside of Frankie Montas is there. It's just, is he going to be healthy? Because, like, his time with the Angels, man, he was awesome. And when he got that move to the Yankees and then immediately got hurt, it just, like, killed everything that he had. And, like, the Reds got him super cheap this offseason, and clearly it still wasn't working out, but the Brewers are in a position where they're willing to gamble. Like, they just lost a series to the Braves, but they're still, I believe, the leaders in the NL Central. Ethan, if you could fact check me on that, if the Brewers still lead the NL Central. But they're still a very good team that is very likely going to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
And Frankie Montas is the kind of arm that you want just in case you have to go to a Game 4 and need to pitch somebody or – yeah, so, like, he'll stroll in, be 3-4 in the rotation, and just do his work. They're up 5 games to the Cardinals. Okay, cool. The Braves made a move, the only move, really, and they acquire Jorge Soler and Luke Jackson from the Giants for Tyler Matzik and Sabin Ceballos.
Aw,
look,
Tyler Matzik.
It does suck that Tyler Matzik goes. But the fact that they just, like, brought in 2 other fan favorites to replace one is pretty awesome. It's like, okay, Tyler Matzik, you did your thing. It's not really working out right now.
Yep.
The guys that also did their thing at the exact same time as you, they're welcome back. Jorge Soler, I'm so happy about this. And like, what's crazy is, like, even, like, the day that he got traded to us, this offense came alive and he wasn't even in the lineup.
Yeah.
And then, like, he's batting fucking leadoff right now. That's the position that the Braves are in right now, where it's just like, we need to we're throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Jorge Soler batting first and Austin Riley batting second, I guess, sticks. And, like, look, I've had my quarrels with Luke Jackson many a times. I was sad to see him leave for the Giants after being injured all of 2023, but he's still a great reliever. I like watching him play. He's an off-speed guy first, which I like, or like a breaking ball first guy, which I like. So Luke Jackson will definitely add something to this pen that we kind of need, which is just some life. This pen has life. You know, guys like Jesse Chavez obviously supply it life, but I think Luke Jackson is a very good emotional leader. He already know he loves the city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
He lived somewhere around this area actually when he played here.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I think Luke Jackson is another kind of emotional leader that we add to the team at the trade deadline. So I think they're good trades. I just think there was probably more to be done by the Braves.
Yeah, definitely 2 not only 2 decent players that the Braves got, but also 2 momentum guys. Like, definitely. I feel like the Braves need this kind of momentum from Soler and Jackson.
Yeah, they definitely and they can definitely supply it. The Yankees acquire Mark Leiter Jr. from the Cubs for infielder Ben Cowles and Jack Neely. Fun fact, I actually interrupted Luke's guess the NFL team by the colleges with this trade.
Yeah.
It happened in the middle of him going through, so I interrupted that. If you haven't watched that video, it came out on Wednesday. It was a really fun time. I had a ton of fun doing it. Thanks to Nathan for putting all the teams together. And make sure you guys check that one out on the YouTube.
That was a fun video.
Yeah, for sure. And that one's kind of the end of like the consistent Wednesday uploads. So you might have to love that one for a little while. Next thing is that move really didn't matter.
Not at all.
Mark Leiter Jr. is a solid relief pitcher, and hopefully he can pitch like his uncle, maybe. Red Sox acquire right-handed pitcher Lucas Sims from the Reds for Ovis Portes. That one's fine. I think the Red Sox just bolstering the pitching, the rotation here, but just in general the pitching staff. They're just trying to fix that because the offense is fine. Obviously it could use something. But the pitching staff definitely needed consistency, and Lucas Sims is a pretty consistent reliever. This one was rather surprising. The Orioles acquire left-handed pitcher Trevor Rogers from the Marlins for Connor Norby and Kyle Stowers. Those are two like MLB floaters, but like Stowers is one of their top prospects, very good player, and Trevor Rogers is kind of an out-of-form starting pitcher. So, thought that was interesting. And, Norby is a pretty good prospect as well.
Trevor Rogers has been around for a while, hasn't
he? I think he was... Didn't he win, Rookie of the Year in COVID for the Marlins? Why do I think that's... I think he emerged in, 2020. I could be totally wrong about that. But for some reason, I feel like second Rookie of the Year. Okay.
So he has not been around a while.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember him pitching for the Marlins when they made the playoff run in 2020, but so Rookie of the Year runner-up in 2021. So he's a young pitcher for the most part, but he hasn't really been the same, but he definitely supplies something to this Orioles rotation, and with how many injuries they're dealing with in their pitching staff, I don't blame them for going out and getting him. Royals acquire Lucas Erceg from the A's for Mason Barnett, Will Klein, and Jared Dickey. Fun fact about this trade, Mason Barnett, actually up until Monday, I worked with his dad.
Wow.
So shout out Greg. But yeah, Mason Barnett pitched at Cartersville High School. Went to Auburn, I think. But yeah, got traded from the Royals to the A's. Rather promising pitching prospect, might I add. But Lucas Erceg, once again, another arm that just gives the Royals more consistency. So I like the move. Mariners acquire right-handed pitcher JT Chargois from the Marlins for Will Schomburg. Great pickup for the Mariners. Personally, I think Chargois is probably one of the most regularly consistent pitchers that the Marlins have had for a couple years now.
Yeah.
So I like that move for the Mariners for sure. Got to keep rolling through the back half of this stuff. Mets acquire Paul Blackburn from the A's for Cade Morris. Great pickup. Didn't have to give up that much. Love it. Rangers acquire left-handed pitcher Andrew Chaffin from the Tigers. Once again, consistency. Andrew Chaffin's just a super consistent relief pitcher. The Twins acquire Trevor Richards from the Blue Jays for Jay Harry. Once again, kind of the theme with these pitchers is going for guys with pretty good upside and rather just guys that okay, we'll put him out there, he'll do his job. And that's exactly what most of the pitchers you see go at the deadline. That's what they're for. Eloy Jimenez goes to the Orioles for Trey Mago. I don't know how I feel about that. Eloy Jimenez has never been healthy. That's pretty sure.
Very true.
I think he won one Silver Slugger and then just dipped. I don't know. It's for years it was just man, Eloy and Luis Robert gonna run shit in the outfield for the White Sox, and then Eloy just stupidly jumped into the wall one time, and ever since it's been over.
And now we're in Nashville.
Exactly.
They really lost everybody, though, the White Sox.
The White Sox literally lost everything except Garrett Crochet.
Eloy Jimenez, though, it'd be fun to see him healthy for a full season.
Dude, I would love it so much.
He's great.
This move's kind of weird to me because I don't know if either of these teams needed this move, but the Rays acquired Dylan Carlson from the Cardinals for Sean Armstrong. I feel like the Rays aren't quite in a position to be going out and like getting starting level position players right now.
Yeah.
Obviously they need to fill the hole of Randy Arozarena, but I don't know. I don't see where they got that much value out of this. I think the Cardinals probably get more out of picking up Sean Armstrong than the Rays do out of getting Dylan Carlson because the Cardinals are in much more of a position to potentially make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Next thing, Orioles acquire Austin Slater and Levon Soto from the Reds for a player to be named later or cash. So a bargain for Austin Slater and Levon Soto. I don't really have much to say about them. Yeah, very, very cheap. The D-backs acquired Dylan Floro from the Nationals for Andres Chaparro. Once again, Dylan Floro, consistent pitcher. That's all you need to know. The Giants acquire first baseman / outfielder Mark Canha from the Tigers for Eric Silva. I think that's a great pickup. Mark Canha is a great pickup for any team that is like middle tier trying to do something.
Yeah.
That's Mark Canha's job. The Dodgers acquired Kevin Kiermaier from the Blue Jays for Ryan Yarbrough.
No way.
Yeah, Kevin Kiermaier is like, if you want a defensive center fielder, go pick him up whenever you want. Ryan Yarbrough is a left-handed pitcher that you do not need on your team. he throws 88 miles per hour.
Good though, right?
Yeah, he had a good season in Tampa 1 year, but like he was always just like all right. He always was just like second in the rotation behind Glasnow, or third in the rotation behind McClanahan and Glasnow.
Yeah,
and was just like fine. He's like he's a slow throwing left-handed pitcher. Orioles acquired Gregory Soto from the Phillies for Seth Johnson and Moises Chassé. I think both sides kind of won this one. The Orioles needed somebody that is a great setup man, and that's exactly what Gregory Soto is, and he's a lefty. And then the Phillies get two relievers out of it to deal with some of the issues they've had in the bullpen with injuries and such. But, Seth Johnson, Moises Chassé are going to add something to the Phillies bullpen, which I think they'll like, and the Orioles will obviously like Gregory Soto. Just about done here. The Guardians acquire right-handed pitcher Alex Cobb from the Giants for Jacob Breshanen, I think is how you say that, and a player to be named later. Once again, Alex Cobb, consistent pitcher. That's the move all the time at the deadline. Padres acquired Tanner Scott and Brian Hoeing from the Marlins for Robbie Snelling, Adam Mazur, Graham Pauley, and Jay Bashirs. Now, this is actually a big deal. Tanner Scott is a very good left-handed closing pitcher and has been very good for the Marlins. Maybe the best, most consistent player on the Marlins for like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the pickup of Tanner Scott for the Padres. They did give up, I think, 2 top 10 prospects for this. So Robbie Snelling, who has had a fantastic year so far in the minors, I think he's like their number 3 prospect. They gave up him, and I think Adam Mazur is also a relatively high prospect for them. So this is a big haul, but the Padres get fantastic relief pitching out of it.
Yeah.
So that's almost invaluable. Last move, though, the Dodgers get Jack Flaherty from the Tigers for Theron Liranzo and Trey Sweeney.
I didn't even know Trey Sweeney wasn't a Yankee anymore. I didn't even know that.
He's not.
I always liked him in the show, dude. 6'4", shortstop, second baseman.
Nice. I know I've heard the name, but I'm not too familiar with him. What do you think about the Jack Flaherty move? Because obviously a ton of people were showing interest in him. Obviously this experiment with the Tigers hasn't worked.
Yeah. As far as Jack Flaherty, I just don't really get it. I don't really get all the hype, like so many teams wanting to pursue him on trade deadline day. I'm glad that the Yankees didn't get him. I'm not saying that he's a bad pitcher. The hype surrounding him with trade deadline day was just, oh my God, I can't talk, was just kind of confusing to me. I didn't really get it.
It was the same thing last year, too. When he ended up on the Orioles.
That is true.
It was just like, everybody is like, oh, Jack Flaherty's going to do what he did back in the day. No, he isn't. He's just not going to do that. Look, and I have nightmares about Jack Flaherty from the 2019 NLDS. But he is not that guy anymore.
No.
That is a different guy
Yeah.
than what I saw in that series. So, look, if Jack Flaherty wants to go out and pitch well for the Dodgers, thanks. You did your job, whatever. Nobody gives a fuck. Also, I saw somebody, like, it might have been ESPN or maybe MLB, I don't know. Somebody was hyping up the Dodgers rotation and only put 4 people. There's 5 pitchers in the fucking rotation. Like, you can't just be like, damn, look at this rotation. And it's like Yamamoto, who's been dog shit and injured all year.
Yep.
Clayton Kershaw, whose last start was fucking abysmal. And then Jack Flaherty and
Tyler Glasnow.
And Glasnow. Walker Buehler was supposed to be back. I haven't heard a fucking word about him.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck are we talking about with this amazing rotation for the Dodgers? None of them are amazing right now,
It's
except
nice on paper.
Glasnow, and he's also been hurt at points in this season.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the? I don't know where this hype is for this Dodgers rotation, but look, if this was 2019, good Lord, I would love this rotation. Clayton Kershaw? Oh, man.
Kershaw?
Yeah. 2019 Walker Buehler? Like a good young starting pitcher?
Dude.
Be awesome.
2013 Kershaw?
Yeah, give me 2013 Kershaw, 2021 Walker Buehler, 2019 Jack Flaherty, and Yamamoto last year in Japan.
Yeah.
And I'd be sold on these 4. I don't get the hype. But let's talk about the Crochet situation before we move on to our AFC East preview. It's very weird because you don't often get a mid-season request for a trade.
Yeah.
And with, 10 days before the deadline, it goes public of what his demands were, which almost hurt him trade-wise.
Yeah.
With that being public and every single team knowing about it, obviously, whenever the White Sox would have gotten on the phone with somebody, they'd have been like, hey, I'm just telling you, you might want him. He's going to ask for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. But when everybody knows it, it makes it 10 times harder.
Yeah.
You can't sneak that one by.
Yeah.
Like, that can't sneak by once everybody knows that you have to get an extension if you want him to pitch in October.
Yep.
Here's the number that he, well, not the exact number, but like, the ballpark that he's looking for.
Yeah.
And you can't transition him out of a starting role, and he will not take any time off.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you want? Like, did you expect, and then a few days later, go in and express that you want to trade?
Yeah, it kind of fucked himself.
You fucked yourself by all that information getting out. And look, I don't even think it's his fault. Obviously, some insider found out about it and tweeted about it. But
which is a shame.
It is. But also, you obviously weren't going about it correctly because I never hear anything about those kinds of requests.
Yeah, he should look into some Saudi Arabia real estate. They could meet demands.
That's true. They could meet demands.
Oh man, but that's unfortunate. Now he's just the last guy standing.
Yeah,
on
now
that
he
shit
just
team.
has to stand there in Chicago and take the shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is exactly what happened to Dylan Cease, maybe on a different kind of level, because Cease was already well-established starting pitcher and kind of like what I talked about earlier, pitched his way out of Chicago.
Yeah.
This is Garrett Crochet's first go at this starting position.
Yeah.
And he's doing a phenomenal job, but we don't know if he can sustain it.
Yeah.
And I think that absolutely killed him for this trade deadline.
Yes.
Because it was that once that information came out and he expressed a trade, his value was as low as it was going to get.
Yeah.
And so naturally, the White Sox aren't just going to take nothing for that good of a player.
Mm-hmm.
They're not stupid. It took a lot to get Cease out of there.
Yeah.
And they're not just going to sit down and do nothing. Obviously, they do that in the games. Like, on the field, they sit down and they do nothing. They've lost 17 straight games, I think. Maybe more now. But in the front office, there's not a single GM in the entire league that's just going to sit down and take shit from other teams because they're not playing well.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. So when all that came out about Crochet, it essentially threw away every possibility of him going anywhere.
Yeah.
Was there anything else trade deadline wise? I think there was probably a couple guys that didn't end up getting traded other than Crochet that were surprising, but I can't think of them off the top of my head. How do you feel about the Yankees deadline? Do you think they addressed obviously? Have we talked about Jazz yet?
No, Jazz was not on the list.
I'd like to. Like me and Colin talked about him on Mondays. Is
Yeah.
why. But what's kind of your thoughts here with Jazz?
Jazz has
It started off hot.
amazing. Yeah,
Sure.
I feel like it's the perfect place for him to finally reach that potential that we've all been kind of digging for with him.
Yeah.
You know, he may not be like the best hitter or maybe even the best like fielder, but I feel like he has a potential that can get unlocked in New York.
For sure. I don't like that he's playing third base.
I honestly don't mind it.
Gleyber Torres' ass needs to move out of second base.
And he doesn't want to.
And he will not.
Yeah. and honestly,
he has to get out of second base. He cannot keep up with it anymore.
I love Gleyber so much, but he has not earned the right to be like, no, second base is what I want to play.
Yeah.
he has not earned that in New York.
No. And Jazz Chisholm, I think, should get at least some kind of opportunity. Look, if you don't want to play another position, you're going to play on the bench.
Yeah.
That's how Boone needs to handle that. Because
Exactly.
if Gleyber Torres is not going to play well and not play good defense, what's the use in him even being in the lineup if we can't try things out?
Very true. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I think he's just fucking himself by limiting himself that way.
Yeah. But no, Jazz has been great. It's so fun to see a Yankee player like go out and play center field in his debut game against Boston, and then in the Phillies series, you know, he's playing third base and he's hitting bombs. He's having fun. He's holding up Aaron Judge's bat in the dugout.
I will
it's
say,
a good time.
You know, walking into your introduction with the hat on sideways seems sacrilegious.
Oh yeah,
like in a Yankees uniform.
Yeah.
The hat not being perfectly straight on the head just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, too many chains, the hair's too long.
Look, like even just like him missing like that like little bit of facial hair he had like seemed weird. Like
yeah.
I don't know what it is about when a guy gets into a Yankees uniform, but like their whole image
Everything
like,
changes.
everything changes about this guy. It's crazy. Yeah, that's facts. The Yankees do have negative aura. Thank you, Ethan. But yeah, I don't mind the Jazz trade. I don't know if he's going to be a superstar for the Yankees.
Well, you voted no on my Instagram.
I know, I did.
Story. was that just because it was me, or
no?
What's your thoughts on that?
My working assumption at the moment on Jazz Chisholm is that he's really good at making you want to think he's going to do well,
and that's what scares me.
That's what he's done his whole damn career. He got himself on the cover of MLB The Show by just having expectations and never living up to them.
Yeah.
So I will never trust Jazz Chisholm a day in my life to do what he is expected to.
That's fair. That's fair. But I'm super excited to have him.
And I'm glad you are.
I love it.
I guess I'll give a quick, just brief thing about the Braves trade deadline. I think we should have added a little more.
Yeah.
We could have used a little
more. And before you get started on that, Luis Robert did not go anywhere, right?
No. Luis Robert is one of the guys that did not get traded.
Okay.
And I think that's probably a money thing.
Yeah.
People probably don't want to rent him for the rest of the year just because he's not a consistent enough player.
Would he have to be a rent, though?
I think his contract ends at the end of this year.
Oh.
I could be wrong, but I thought that's what the case was. And so you'd be running into like a Machado to the Dodgers type thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, okay, he's going to play here for 3 months, and then he's going to pack his shit and leave because somebody else is going to pay him a whole lot more.
That is true. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it like hurts his career to spend another remainder of the year in the White Sox organization
because he's going to get paid in the offseason. So,
but yeah, I think the Braves could have addressed a little bit more. I know we got Whit Merrifield to play in the infield, but I would have liked something else infield depth-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Just with Ozzie being hurt right now and Nacho not looking very good since he's come up, I would have liked a little more depth in the infield. Also, I'm like almost 100%, probably 90% out on Orlando Arcia.
No,
I'm just about
he's my
done.
favorite Brave.
Why?
I just think he's underrated.
I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, for a little bit he was underrated, and then he made an All-Star game, and then it all went downhill. Yeah, I'm out on Arcia. I'm just patiently waiting for what's that kid's name, Ethan? The shortstop in the he's like in single A. Is it Perdomo? Jose Perdomo, maybe might be his name. That could be somebody that's already in the MLB. I have no idea, but I know there is some young, promising Braves prospect that I believe is a shortstop that is not Nacho Alvarez.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, what did you think about the Yankees? I can't remember if we traded or signed, but we picked up
I was right. Jose Perdomo.
Jose Perdomo.
17 years old. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm waiting for him.
Yeah.
I've seen a little bit. Yeah, I know. I've seen a little bit of his work. I like him.
What did you think about the Yankees picking up Brett Phillips coming back as a pitcher?
Look, we'll see. The Braves are sitting on their own gem down in the minors with David Fletcher.
Yeah.
So
David Fletcher.
Pump the brakes. What, Ethan? Oh, really? Did he start the day after? Oh, the day before you guys went and saw was it Mississippi Braves? Nice. All right. That's going to do it for the trade deadline. A lot of stuff happened. Just so everybody knows, I guess I'll just go ahead and say this. I'm pretty sure me and Colin are going to be recording on Saturday. So we're going to be doing an MLB recap, but it will be missing whatever happens on Sunday. But that's the only topical information that will be covered on that podcast. Everything else just, previews, game time, whatever else happens. All right. AFC East time.
Ooh.
We end the AFC previews with a fun division, I would say. It's not one of the best, personally, mainly because one team weighs them down. But it's a division that I really like, and I am very excited to watch. I was excited to watch it last year.
Yeah.
This year, hopefully, it's going to live up to what it was supposed to be last year.
Oh, man. This division weighs on if Aaron Rodgers plays every regular season game for me.
Yeah, it does. Me too.
Because otherwise, I just don't care.
Me neither. But let's start the standings from the bottom.
Okay.
Who's in fourth? Actually, you just go through your standings. Start from the bottom.
Patriots have a lock there. To your point about weighing the division down, it's kind of like when you get into a river with your shoes on and you walk on dry land with the shoes that were in the river. Like how you get water in there and it's heavy? Those are the Patriots. There's no way they come in third. They will be fourth.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to drive that point across. I do not like the Patriots. They don't even have Bill Belichick this year.
That is
true. It's over. Shout out Gerard Mayo, though. I hope he does okay, but they're going to be fourth. Third, I think, is going to be the Bills. I think it's Dolphins' second place season, and I think the Jets are going to win the whole thing. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, there's no way they should.
You're sounding a lot like me last year. I was too high on the Jets last year, and I was way too high on the Jets last year. Now, is there a 50th anniversary Mark Sanchez jersey in my bedroom right now? There sure is. And it's probably going to be up on that wall the next time you watch an episode of Second and Short.
Wow.
But because I think the jersey's sick. Authentic Reebok jersey,
it's
early 2000s. Yeah, and shout out Mark Sanchez. The butt fumble is awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to go too heavy on the Jets. Are they a dark horse? For sure. I'm not going heavy on them.
Fair.
Continue.
That was my standings. It goes Pats, Bills, Dolphins, Jets from fourth to first.
Cool.
Yep.
I guess I was going to say mine's similar. It's not. I've got the Pats in last, mainly because Drake May probably won't even start immediately. I think it's Jacoby Brissett as we speak.
Yeah.
But I don't really think that would change all that much. Did do a great job bringing back good players and extending good players.
Yeah.
You still need to pay Matthew Judon this offseason, like literally before the season starts. Please lock him up for whatever it costs. And you do have some lasting injuries that will affect the beginning of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Bourne will probably miss a couple of the first couple of weeks. Demario Douglas is questionable at the moment. I don't know when he'll be back. And then Christian Barmore is out indefinitely right now with blood clots. That was a development that happened on Sunday.
Wow.
So
bizarre.
that could affect some things as well. But I think that's just going to hurt them early on in the season, and there's not going to really, get any wind in their sails early on to maybe, upset a couple teams. Like they are a team that, maybe, halfway through the season they just surprisingly beat the Bills like they did last year, or like something like that. Luckily, you have shed the issues of Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi.
Yep.
And hopefully you've figured something out. You have a relatively new staff with a similar mindset, which I do like.
Yeah. Which makes me think that the defense is still going to be tough in New England.
Yeah, and they have a good defense. Jabril Peppers stays on this team.
Solid.
He's fantastic.
Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez is a guy that I will be mentioning later.
Yeah.
Obviously Matthew Judon, hopefully back and fully healthy. I talked about Barmore. He, we'll see what happens there. and a number of other great defensive players on this team. And then on the offensive side, you do have weapons. It's just, are they going to be healthy, and are they going to play up to their potential?
Yeah, I love them getting Antonio Gibson because I think Ramondre Stevenson is done.
Yeah, no, I'm not a huge Ramondre Stevenson fan, and I'm not like all that sold on Antonio Gibson, but he's a very good receiving option.
Probably an upgrade.
Maybe
from Stevenson, I think.
Maybe Stevenson he shows flashes. We haven't seen a flash from Antonio Gibson since 2021, probably.
Yeah, been a minute.
So we'll see about that. Dolphins in third place for me. Didn't really love the draft class. It's probably the biggest part. I thought they did have quite a few things to address. I didn't love Chop Robinson. Mm-hmm. We talked about it multiple times throughout the draft process, but when he came in with one of the smallest wingspans of all edges in this draft, I think it was the smallest. That scares me quite a bit, especially playing in a 3-4. Because it's literally you and two other guys on that line. They've got to figure it out. And
yeah, that is true.
Like literally right now, he opens up on the depth chart as the third string defensive end.
Oh, and you lost Christian Wilkins as well.
Yeah, that is not a good place to be. I think Jalen Wright was a waste of a draft pick in the 4th round. You did not need another fast young running back.
Yeah.
You could have addressed defensive tackle there. In that 4th round pick, especially because you didn't have a 3rd round pick that you traded away. So that I didn't love. Outside of the draft, though, the addition of Odell is fine, but I don't know if he's really going to play that big of a role.
Yeah,
when you have Tyreek Hill and Waddle already there, how can you expect that Odell makes all that much of an impact? Like last year, he made somewhat of an impact for the Ravens, and he was the number 2 wide receiver behind a rookie.
Yeah.
Now he's behind a top 5, top 3 wide receiver in the league, and probably number 1, number 2 wide receiver 2 in the league.
Yeah,
like a top wide receiver 2 in the league. So it's like really hard. Only pickup I love is Jonnu Smith because I think he fits the blueprint of this offense.
That pickup too.
Fast tight end, very good run after the catch kind of tight end.
Yeah.
Super just offensive centered. And he works really well.
With the Dolphins, for sure.
Yeah, for the Dolphins, it fits super well.
I wanted to follow it up with, I'm high on Jonnu Smith, too, because this is really the first time the Dolphins have had a good tight end with this air raid offense, with like Tua, Reek, and Waddle. So I like picking up Jonnu Smith. I think he's going to have a big year.
Yeah, I agree. Second place, I have the Jets. Hopefully we get healthy Aaron Rodgers. That's what I'm hoping for. But also age is a factor.
Yeah,
I know Aaron Rodgers does as many drugs as he can to not have that be a factor. But I personally haven't seen the anti-aging studies on ayahuasca, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that his weapons improved.
Oh,
that's the nice thing. Garrett Wilson is just primed to just blow up. Like his first season in the league, he was the offensive rookie of the year with a dog shit quarterback. Yeah. Second year, it's like, all right. We're getting it going. No, not going to happen. Pops. Yeah. Ethan, what did you just celebrate for back there? Matt Olson's turning it around. Fantastic. Shout out Matt Olson. Still time to break his record from last year. Back to the Jets. Garrett Wilson is just primed to be good.
Yep.
Like, please, for the love of God, give him a full season of a good quarterback.
And now Mike Williams is on his buddy on the team.
Yeah, and Mike Williams has a great chance. Okay, so this is all whatever you want to take it as, but saw this video on TikTok talking about like certain guys and their possibility of coming back strong from an ACL or knee injury. And like a guy like Nick Chubb doesn't have a very good chance because I think it's his 3rd ACL injury and he tore MCL and other things in his knee.
Yep.
Mike Williams was a clean ACL only tear.
Oh.
And he's not that old and he hasn't had it happen. I don't think he's had it happen before.
Yeah.
So Mike Williams has a good chance to come back just fine from the ACL.
I think so.
I really liked their draft picks this year. And I think the defense truly improved, especially on the defensive line with Hassan Reddick and Javon Kinlaw.
Yeah.
I think those were 2 great pickups. Obviously, Bryce Huff leaves, and you traded him for Hassan Reddick, but I think Hassan Reddick is a step up, at least in consistency. And that also helps out Quinnen Williams, having those guys on the defensive line, and it helps out Jermaine Johnson as well. So I'm excited to see the Jets. I think defensive-wise, they're stacked up and down. Offensive-wise, they're stacked. Breece Hall, I think he's going to be good. I'm not like 100% in on Breece Hall, but I do think he'll play well. So I'm excited for the Jets, but I don't think they're going to be the first-place team just because I think they do have a volatility to their offense.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last time we did see a healthy Aaron Rodgers wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen Garrett Wilson play a full season getting real looks
Yes.
and getting all of that. And we haven't seen Garrett Wilson have to deal with the fact that there is another very good wide receiver on his team.
Yep.
And Breece Hall, once again, has not been in an offense with a fantastic quarterback. These are things that do change how they play. I know it sounds crazy that adding a good quarterback and a good wide receiver to an offense could make it worse, but it's like, yes, it's going to make it better, but how much better is the thing? Because they were at the fucking bottom with the offense they had before. So how much does it really improve with those additions?
That is true.
I also don't trust Nathaniel Hackett at all.
No.
I think he is not even a factor.
It is his first season, though, with his buddy.
That's true.
Presuming that Aaron Rodgers doesn't get injured
and I will
again.
say, Aaron Rodgers, one year he wasn't good. Nathaniel Hackett was in Denver.
Yeah.
And then fired.
and also, the one year that Rodgers wasn't good, we obviously, I think the last game they played the Lions, and I remember covering it on the podcast, and you and I were like, this is the changing of the guard in the NFC North, whoever wins this game. And the Lions won, but then again, like, that was
also,
probably,
Rodgers was hurt. He had a broken thumb like all season.
Yeah.
I think.
And on top of that, like, he lost Devontae Adams that season.
Yep.
That was probably one of the worst teams Aaron Rodgers has ever been on.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking up for
thrown a
it.
touchdown to a first-round pick.
Exactly. And I would, be damned to say, but I think going into 2024, this is probably one of the best teams he's ever been on, aside from the team that won the Super Bowl in Green Bay, because that team was just loaded everywhere.
True.
But this team is loaded too.
All right, let's talk about the Bills, because I think they're winning the division. And I feel like pretty solid reasoning for it. We definitely saw like a flip switch there when Ken Dorsey got fired and Joe Brady came in OC. Joe Brady earned the full-time role. In that time, James Cook improved tenfold. In Josh Allen was getting so many more chances at high percentage throws. His whole career, Ken Dorsey's plan was just throw it downfield because you have an arm.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work a lot of the time. But what we saw was Allen started transitioning to throwing to James Cook more, throwing to Khalil Shakir more on short passes, and maybe not neglecting Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, but not always taking the route of throwing downfield.
Yeah.
And it was clear that they needed to reset a wide receiver, and that's exactly what they did. Because Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis don't fit the plan that Joe Brady has for this offense and what works best for Josh Allen from what we've seen now. So Stephon Diggs clearly did not like the role he was playing where he was getting like 4 receptions a game and not getting a ton of yards.
Yeah.
And Gabe Davis didn't like that he was getting like 3 targets a game and they were all, deep balls and they weren't working out. Well, now Khalil Shakir, you already saw him thrive in this. Keon Coleman is as dynamic and as athletic as a receiver can get in this past draft class. Obviously, I'm biased because I watched every single game he played at Florida State. But, like, it's obvious. Like, he has the innate ability to make difficult catches that, like, you would have never imagined somebody made.
Mm-hmm.
He is extremely athletic, extremely dynamic. I saw him work, screen passes, verts, like literally every single thing that you need Keon Coleman to do at the wide receiver position, he did well at Florida State.
Yeah.
I don't know if that translates to the NFL, but we will see. I think the additions of Curtis Samuel and one that went under the radar, Marquez Valdez-Scantling as well, is in this wide receiver room.
That is true, yeah.
They're definitely able to complement this wide receiver core. I don't know if they're going to play a huge role, but Curtis Samuel is more than comfortable at wide receiver 3. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling has shown that at times he can be extremely valuable to a team.
Mm-hmm.
On top of that, the defense, I think the defense could be better, for sure, for the Bills. I think that's probably the one reservation anybody can have about this team is the defense. But we also said the exact same thing last year.
It's true.
And, like, it didn't really seem to be a problem. Like, nobody was talking about how bad the Bills' defense was when the offense started looking good.
Yeah.
So
it is true.
I don't know. I think it's like the defense was good enough to not give up that many points. It's just the offense was struggling at times, and they couldn't put up enough points to outscore them.
Yeah.
It's like that's just what they ran into, and then when they figured out the offense, the defense stopped getting so much shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that, but I do think the Bills are going to be the team that wins this division.
I loved your arguments. I would have to disagree.
Fair enough.
I think this is a big down year for the Bills. I think with that offensive switch, it's going to take them a long time to figure it out, and I think it might be too long. On top of that, they lost Tre'Davious White.
Yep.
Jordan Poyer went to the Dolphins, so he's in the division still. Von Miller didn't even play last year. He's only gotten older. I think their defense is going to be extremely bad this year.
I don't know.
Their wide receivers, I love Keon Coleman. I think he's probably the best one out of this whole group, and I haven't even seen him play yet. I don't know if they're going to be able to handle the load of Josh Allen kind of airing it out, but then again,
James Cook counteracts that.
Yeah, and James Cook would counteract that, and I do think it's a big year for Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah,
but I really do have them in third in this division. Seriously, I don't think it's going to come together for them.
All right, dark horses. My only dark horse is the Jets. I'm not believing in the Dolphins this year.
Yeah, mine is the Dolphins.
Okay. Main thing with the Dolphins, I already kind of talked about it, but the lingering injuries from last year are a big thing to me.
Yes.
Like the defensive injuries that happened late in the season are going to be a problem early in this one.
For sure.
And if you don't have that same momentum, because last year they played a fucking cupcake schedule to start the season.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be honest. They did.
No, they did.
And then they went and fucking shit on the Broncos, and then literally the week later get humbled by the Bills.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, whatever. And then you saw late in the season when all these injuries pop up, they could not hold on to that division. I think they had a 3-game lead in that division at one point.
Yeah.
And they blew it.
It was
And so I don't love that they still have these lingering injury issues, and they haven't been all that great defensively, at least in capitalizing on momentum.
Who are their lingering defensive guys that are hurt?
That is... Why am I blanking on his name?
Is it Bradley Chubb?
Yes, Bradley Chubb is
Did
one
he
of
not
them.
Leave
No, he's still there.
Okay.
Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips.
Okay.
Both of them, which are like two of their best defensive players, other than
both
Jalen Ramsey.
linebackers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are kind of the main lingering injuries. And then I also just don't really believe in Tua to take the next step.
Fair.
That's probably my biggest thing against the Dolphins, is that I don't exactly believe in Tua. I don't think he's going to live up to this paycheck. We'll have to see. He's the second. He's not the second highest. He's the fourth highest in average annual value in the NFL, which is, I think, kind of crazy. Obviously, I think it's crazier that Jordan Love is higher.
Yeah.
But Jordan Love was in a position where he was on a prove-it deal, and he proved it.
Yeah.
Tua was not. Tua was just coming off of his rookie contract and needed something. And that's what he ended up with. So I don't love Tua's contract because I really don't think he's going to take the next step. I think he's good for 3,000 yards, 4,000 maybe in a great year, but 3,000 yards, plenty of touchdowns, a couple interceptions as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's a game changer at quarterback. He's not a superstar quarterback.
If Tua only gets 3,000 passing yards, how many are Waddle and Reek going to have by themselves then, alone?
Tyreek will get his 1,000 for sure.
Waddle will be close.
Yeah.
You're already close to 2,000 there.
Yeah.
I think 4,000 is easy for this guy.
I don't think it is.
I don't know. My main thing with the dark horse, my dark horse being the Dolphins, is honestly what they added defensively. Dude, their secondary this year is Jalen Ramsey, Kendall Fuller. They replaced him with Xavier Howard. Kendall Fuller's a dog. Javon Holland's still there. Jordan Poyer's there from the Bills.
Yeah, the secondary's great.
Yeah, their secondary's
not gonna
loaded.
argue that.
And they will have lingering injuries on in their linebacker core, but they also added Shaq Barrett. He's a pretty good edge rusher linebacker type.
Wait, didn't he just retire?
No, wait.
I'm like 90% sure that Shaq Barrett just retired.
Though.
Yeah, but he retired like 2 weeks ago.
I think you're right, actually, now that I say that.
I'm very certain that we talked about it, unless I'm thinking of somebody else.
Okay, so he signed with a new team and retired. Fuck myself, I guess.
Yes.
Anthony Walker Jr. is still there. He also was a new move that they made. And also, I like the Karate Chop draft pick. So I think their defense got a hell of a lot better, and when these guys come back healthy, it's just going to only help the offense even more.
Yeah. No, I think the defense, once it comes back healthy, will be just fine. I just think that this is in the secondary, it's guys that I've seen get beat plenty of times. I've seen Jalen Ramsey play bad before, and I have definitely seen Jordan Poyer play bad before. And the fact that Jordan Poyer is going to play against guys that know exactly what to do against him 2 times a year, and other teams that have played against him his entire career, I don't think it's like, obviously it's not bad because he's a good player, but it's not necessarily good for him.
Yeah, that's fair. But I mean,
and Kendall Fuller is more than capable of being bad. So I obviously that's just like gambling on the fact that I've seen these guys underperform at times individually. So fair. I'm not gonna like fully buy into any of them.
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay. Offensive player of the year. I've only got a couple.
You didn't explain your dark horse, by the way. You said Jets and just shit on the Dolphins.
Okay. I think the Jets was pretty obvious. I sucked their dick plenty in my standings, but yeah, I think it's just the fact that they have an elite defense, and I'm hoping that Sauce Gardner kind of does what everybody does, which is like you have a great rookie year and then you kind of fall off in the second year and then you come back even better in the third.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that happens. Either way, he's very good, and the rest of this team is extremely good.
Yeah.
They only improved on the defensive line. I love what they did to the defense, and like we said, the offense just got better. So we'll see if it lives up. If it doesn't, it's the Jets. Like, what can you expect?
Exactly. It's always the Jets.
Yeah, that's why the Jets are my other dark horse, or my only dark horse. Okay, offensive player of the year. From the Bills, I've got Josh Allen and James Cook. And then Jets, I've got Rodgers, Wilson, and Breece Hall.
Same.
And then Tyreek Hill is the only Dolphin, no Patriots.
Okay. I also had no Patriots. For the Dolphins, I had Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle. The Bills, I had Allen, Cook, but also Kincaid. And then the Jets, we had the same players.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with Kincaid, he's going to play a big role, but he's not going to, like, the only tight end in the entire league that can win Offensive Player of the Year in their division is Travis Kelce.
Yeah, that's fair.
How I see it, because nobody else has the offensive impact that he can have.
Then again, though, with my argument about their receivers, I think Dalton Kincaid could be that guy.
He could end up being in that role.
Yeah.
I don't know how Joe Brady is going to use him, because we did see that Kincaid kind of not took a step back, but his involvement was lessened when Joe Brady came in.
And on top of that, Dawson Knox is still there.
Yeah, he is still there.
So somehow
that was
kind of surprised. He could go be a tight end one like a lot of places.
Definitely. He definitely could.
Oh man, but yeah, the Patriots absolutely nobody. Literally nobody.
Oh yeah. Nobody's even gonna sniff it.
No.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm kind of gambling on Breece Hall a little bit, but also like last year he was a 1,000-yard rusher and was coming off of an ACL injury and missed the first 2 games. So I'm not out on Breece Hall. You ready to talk defense?
Yes.
Defensive player of the years. I do have 2 Patriots here. Matt Judon and Christian Gonzalez. Let's go.
I'm glad that we're both high on Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah, I wish that his season did not get cut short last year, because he was so good. And that goes for a lot of guys on the Patriots, including Matt Judon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see. I do like those 2 in particular for the Patriots. On the Jets, I've got Quinnen Williams and Sauce. That's the only 2. You could probably argue for C.J. Mosley.
That's the other guy
and
that
DJ Reed, honestly.
Yeah.
But those are the 2 that I think would headline this defense.
Yeah.
And then I've got Jalen Ramsey for the Dolphins, but he's the only one I've got personally for the Dolphins. And then for the Bills, I have Ed Oliver and Rasul Douglas.
Oh, okay. For the Bills, I have Ed Oliver and Greg Rousseau. Or Rousseau? Probably Rousseau. Rousseau, yeah. Dolphins, I had Jalen Ramsey and Jordan Poyer. I don't know. I'm just really high on Jordan Poyer to have like a healthy season on a different team. For the Jets, I have Quinnen Williams, C.J. Mosley, and Sauce. And for the Patriots, we had the same people.
Okay, so pretty similar here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got the Patriots locked up on each other.
Yeah, yeah. We're locked in on
but
what
offense
we
was
think of
really
the Patriots.
Easy.
Yeah. Rookie of the year. I actually have 2 Patriots.
For Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
Let me go to my rookie.
Crazy enough. Drake May, if he starts from the jump, he's got a chance.
Yeah. Devon Baker?
He can show out. No.
Oh.
I actually went Jalen Polk.
Oh, okay.
I
Interesting.
like Jalen Polk a little bit better, and he's probably going to start off as wide receiver 3 behind Bourne and Douglas.
Yeah. I also had Drake May, but my pick for Javon Baker was just the fact that, Bourne is still injured, like you said, and their wide receivers aren't like that strong at all.
No.
So I feel like I really don't know how good he's going to be, but he's definitely going to get a shot.
Yeah, no,
sure.
he's good. So he'll get a shot, and that's kind of the same thinking for Jalen Polk.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman is probably the favorite, obviously. And then Malachi Corley is kind of a sleeper that I ended up putting in Rookie of the Year instead of
Who did he
surprise
get
player.
drafted by?
The Jets.
Okay.
Wide receiver for the Jets. I think he could play a big role early on as wide receiver 3 because right now I think it's Xavier Gibson.
Who they drafted last year, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's really wide receiver 3. Alan Lazard sucks.
Yeah, that is very true.
And there's really not much else. So I really like Malachi Corley. He's really a sleeper. Probably somebody that I probably should just put in surprise players, but I put him here for Rookie of the Year because he has the potential to pop off.
I remember seeing him when I made my list. I just thought the depth chart was going to be just way out of his favor to really get a full opportunity.
As of right now, it is, but I think obviously depth charts change so much, especially when you look in the lower half of them.
Yeah.
During training camp.
That is
training
very
camp
true.
just started. So we'll see what happens there. Who you got?
So I just wanted to highlight rookies that I thought would make an impact, not necessarily Rookie of the Year. Drake May, Javon Baker for the Patriots. For the Jets, I took Fashanu. He's going to be great. I just love the fact that they're investing in Aaron Rodgers' Achilles with that pick. For the Dolphins, I like Chop and Patrick Paul. I like them investing in the tackle out of Houston for Tua. And then for the Bills, Keon Coleman's going to be great. Cole Bishop, safety out of Utah, I think is going to take some reps. And then Dwayne Carter, defensive tackle out of Duke. I like him too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Surprise players. I've actually got two rookies here for surprise players, so I'll just start with those guys. Ray Davis for the Bills. I think he could be a valuable running back too for James Cook.
Okay.
I saw that man single-handedly win games at Kentucky.
Yeah.
So Ray Davis is more than capable of coming in the game and just getting some yards, getting some touchdowns.
Yep.
Pretty sure I watched him rush for 250 and 4 touchdowns at Kentucky.
My God.
I think it was against Florida last season. But yeah, Ray Davis is a dog. Another running back as well. For my other surprise player is Braylon Allen for the same reason.
Yeah.
Braylon Allen for the Jets was at Wisconsin. Great running back at Wisconsin. I think he just has a great chance to be a very good running back too behind Breece Hall.
Okay.
That's the main reasons I went with those guys. Obviously, I could not have possibly put them in Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
But I think they could be surprise guys. I'll stick with another Jet and go Jermaine Johnson, defensive end. Once again, Florida State bias. But, whatever.
I like it too.
But he's also very good.
Oh,
and
yeah.
adding Kinlaw and Hassan Reddick along with Quinnen Williams on that defensive line, somebody can't get great coverage.
Yeah.
and I think it would be Jermaine Johnson.
You still have Will McDonald there too. Who's just waiting.
Yeah.
And he's a great player.
Exactly. There is, if they could, they'd just set up in a 5-2.
Yeah.
and have C.J. Mosley and D.J. Reed right behind him and just work with that. So we'll see what the Jets do on defense, but I think Jermaine Johnson's probably the likely one to emerge as a surprise out of that group.
That's fair.
At the front four. I've got Keon White for the Patriots. I think his rookie season was relatively underwhelming. I'm glad he ended up in New England because I think it works out in his favor as a defensive player.
Especially with Gerard Mayo, too.
Yeah, to be coached by this team, I think Keon White works well. He's a big body, but he can move on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him at Tech. I really like what he has the potential to do for the Patriots this year.
Okay, yeah.
2 more guys. Jonnu Smith, for reasons that we've already talked about.
Yeah.
He fits that offense so well. And then Curtis Samuel, I think, could be a valuable wide receiver for the Bills. Now, I don't think he's going to be phenomenal, but 750 yards and 5 touchdowns for Curtis Samuel is a surprise to me.
Definitely the best quarterback he's ever going to play with.
Oh, yeah.
So, we'll have to see. I mean, I've always thought he was talented.
He always had potential,
never thought he really had any impact anywhere. But
we'll see.
He's primed for it now. So I did my surprise players by teams. I'll start off with the Patriots. Really like Javon Bentley, middle linebacker. He's probably going to lead the team in tackles. Keon White as well.
Yep.
Just ready for him to get his shot, especially with Judon getting hurt last year, and he's 31, 32, kind of hoping that he gets more of an opportunity. I love Austin Hooper, being a Patriot.
Yeah.
I think that works
I
out
haven't
really well
cared
for
about
him.
Austin Hooper in a long time.
I know. Yeah. Dude, I remember the year he was with Atlanta, he was like the best tight end to have in fantasy that year.
Dude, he was like the best tight end in the league for a season.
Yeah.
I think he was maybe like an all-pro second team.
Yeah.
Like, he was definitely a Pro Bowler.
That's crazy.
Insane.
One move I've totally forgot about, and you know that I've always been high on this guy. KJ Osborne is a Patriot this year.
Good move.
Yeah, he might
Really
be. He might be the best receiver on the Patriots. I'm not even gonna lie. He never really had a shot in Minnesota.
He's not better than Kendrick Bourne.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
He is not better than
KJ Osborne's solid.
Kendrick Bourne is very good.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree there. Antonio Gibson is my other surprise player. I don't know. I just feel like
surprise me by playing well twice.
Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. Oh man. Now to move on, we'll start off with the Jets, or we'll second off with the Jets. Mike Williams. I think he's going to have a crazy year this year, especially if Rodgers is healthy. With the Jets losing their running back armada from last year, I'm hoping that Izzy.
Yeah, Abanaconda.
Yeah, I'm really high on him. I hope he gets his opportunity.
Yeah. I think it's really between him and Braylon Allen, and they play very similar.
Yeah.
So,
and then same as you on the defensive line, Will McDonald, Javon Kinlaw, Jermaine Johnson are all going to be great players this year. DJ Reed is solid, and then Tony Adams rounds out my list for the Jets. Their safety.
I like
high
that.
on him. For the Bills, I got Rasul Douglas. I just think he'll
I'm excited to see a full season of him with his team.
Exactly, yeah. He'll do better than he did last year. Dawson Knox, I still think is going to be effective. AJ Epinesa, I think is going to be good this year as well. And so is Terrell Bernard, their other middle linebacker.
Both of them are just very consistent players.
Yeah, yeah. The Dolphins, I have Mostert and A-Chain here just because I think it'll surprise you that they will probably do the same thing they did last year this year.
Which would mean that Raheem Mostert is like a top running back in the league.
Exactly. I have Odell here. I like his role getting lessened in this Dolphins team. And I think with less of a role, there's less expectations. And I think what we will see of him will actually be pretty good. It's probably the best offense he'll ever play on. I mean, you can argue last year being with the Ravens, but as far as like talent and just
maybe
a loaded
Rams
team,
Super Bowl.
You could argue Dolphins 2024, I think, too.
Yeah, that's true. I think on paper, it's probably the best.
Yeah.
But playing with Stafford and Cooper Kupp.
That is very true.
That was very good.
Jonnu Smith, don't want to, broken record here.
Yeah, beat a dead horse.
And like I kind of talked about earlier, Anthony Walker Jr., I think, is going to be great at, linebacker for them. Yeah. Love the fact that they got Marcus May in that secondary as well. Yeah. Just a solid safety. And then Kendall Fuller, I think, is going to have a good year.
Okay.
Yep.
We had mentioned this the other day that you wanted to talk about this. I forgot to put it on the prep sheet or even mention it to you. Do you want to talk about Hard Knocks offseason? Because it just ended.
I still have not seen it. Okay. So we might have to postpone.
Okay, well, I have really good notes on it. Can I just talk about it?
Yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
Okay, so the season's over now, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything. It ended on Tuesday. I know I'm spoiling it for you, but if you want to skip this, skip it. If you haven't watched it.
I mean, it's my fault for not seeing it.
To start this review, I highly, highly suggest that you watch it. It's the biggest thing. Okay, I'm going to skip this first one because it's very much like the entire plot of the final episode. So I'll skip what I have to say there. Other than like the editing style of this was so perfect for like full circle moments. Like, you get guys where it's like at the combine, Dable is like, man, I like that guy. And then he ends up falling to them in the draft. Yeah. And like things like that happen. So that was really cool. As a person who once and still would not be opposed to work, once wanted to and still would not be opposed to working in an MLB or NFL front office, this series is a dream. I am so excited for what is to come with Hard Knocks offseason in particular for years to come. This is the part of the process that I fell in love with like front offices and really made me want to work in a sports front office is stuff like this.
Yeah.
This was the stuff I always looked into. Scouting, draft analysis, all of that kind of stuff is what I got interested in at like a young age, probably way too young to be that interested in like the front office functions of an MLB or NFL team. But like movies like Moneyball give us a look into what it's like.
Yeah.
And that sparked my interest. So it's like, stuff like that. you get to see this front office, but in like a fictionalized way. The way that I described in these notes is like a based on a true story reality, which is what Moneyball is, because it is not at all the exact story. But like this was another level. This is like reality. It really is.
Yeah.
This is the reality of it. And what you see is exactly what happened. Now, there is editing and there's things that they take out and there's things they put in that, whatever. Maybe they didn't need to include. Maybe they didn't need to take out. But overall, I think it made the series very good. From the side of working in media and having a major interest in documentaries and filmmaking, this was a fantastic experience to watch all 5 episodes of. We often enter the Hard Knocks series with preconceived storylines.
Yeah.
Because, and it's great, but we know what's coming. Like last season with the Jets for Hard Knock, like regular Hard Knocks, it was clearly like the obvious storylines was Rodgers' arrival, him and Nathaniel Hackett, him and Zach Wilson. Those were like the big ones, and then just kind of a new outlook for the Jets. Robert Saleh early in his career, like we knew that these would be the storylines, and that's exactly what was the storylines.
Yeah,
the entire time. And then the Dolphins midseason was very clearly the storylines were like high flying offense is what they're going to talk about all the time. They're going to talk about the injuries that are happening, and then having a good but young head coach. And that's exactly what that entire series was. So it's like, yes, this offseason one for the Giants, it did have storylines, but they weren't big ones. Like the only ones that I went into this thinking about was like losing Saquon is definitely one. The Brian Burns trade was interesting to me, and it was way more interesting once I watched it. And then whether they would go with a QB or not in the draft. And I also didn't really know what they'd be looking at in this series. They went into exactly what I liked. They started right as the season ended for the Giants, and right as you get Joe Shane going to the Senior Bowl and all this stuff. And I already told Luke about this, so I think I've already talked about it on this podcast before. But you get the moment where Joe Shane is talking to the GM of the Panthers, who they used to work together, and he's like just randomly, like Joe Shane doesn't mention anything about it, and he just goes, I'll give you Brian Burns for 2 firsts. And that's the inception of this trade, or like this move. So like it's crazy.
I love that, by the way. That's
love like that kind of look into it. And like you get literally conversations with Joe Shane and Saquon's like agent being like, we're going to let him test free agency with the understanding that you come back and you tell us what offers he gets.
Yeah.
And like that is a conversation that I didn't even think would have happened. Like that's crazy to do.
Yeah.
and they did it, and they showed it in the series. And like getting to see, their reactions to things at the combine and how that turned into what they did on draft night. Like it all was so well done. So shout out to NFL Films, which nobody, like, they don't need a shout out. Everybody knows that NFL Films is awesome.
Oh, they're great. Yeah. They are great.
But this was like the most enjoyable version of Hard Knocks that I've watched.
Yeah.
So I absolutely loved it. I think it probably just more caters to my interests.
Yeah.
But it was the most enjoyable version of it that I've watched.
I can't believe that trade. Literally, it's like 2 dudes talking fantasy football.
Yeah, it literally is like that.
It just doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, they're literally standing on the sidelines of the Senior Bowl just being like, hey, let's do something here. But yeah, we'll move on from the NFL and talk a little bit about a different type of football. I love saying that every single time.
Never gets old.
And yeah, we'll do some transfer news. Like I said, I didn't get everything. I kind of just went through like the last few tweets from Transfer Deadline Live. Yeah. That's where I get all of this.
Soccer transfer news is like casting a net. You're not going to catch everything.
It is literally impossible to keep up with. Like, I have post notifications on for Transfer Deadline news.
Yeah.
And I literally, like, I can't, if I check my phone right now, I'm sure that I'll have a Twitter notification from them. So I've got a lot of notifications. Okay, well, okay.
Mr. Popular over here.
No. Problem is I opened it in the middle of the podcast, so they're not there. And it's also very late in Europe.
That is true.
But yeah, like, throughout the day, my phone is constantly buzzing with Twitter notifications from them. So there's too much going on in soccer. So we'll start Tottenham pursuing a move for Dominic Solanke.
Oh, wow.
Would be a fantastic signing
Yeah.
for them. I don't know if he'd go, honestly.
Yeah, he does have that Chelsea background.
Yeah, we'll see. I did like this move though. Leeds. I can't remember how to say this. Crescencio Somerville, I believe is how you say his first name. Crescencio. He has undergone his West Ham medical. Is already agreed on all personal terms and everything. So that's likely done. Him going to West Ham. I think it's a great move. I heard a lot about him at Leeds. I didn't watch him because they weren't playing in the Prem. But seems like it's going to be a great depth move for West Ham. This next move I'm not happy about. PSG are showing interest in Julian Alvarez.
Oh, yes. Get him out of the Prem.
Look, and I'm not mad about it because like he's going to PSG, because I think PSG is totally different now. Yeah. I view them entirely differently.
I actually have respect for them now.
I'm not going to go that far yet. They still play in the easiest league
that is
in
true.
Europe.
That is true.
But PSG has kind of turned a new leaf, especially now that Mbappe's gone.
Yeah.
Like this is genuinely like replacing a great young player with definitely not on the same level, but a good young player. And you need help at striker. Why not?
Yeah.
Because obviously Kolo Muani and Gonzalo Ramos did not work.
Yeah. Which is a real bummer.
It is.
Two players I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the move made more sense for Kolo Muani than Gonzalo Ramos.
Yeah, just a French guy going to the best French team.
Yeah, and it was like the team he wanted to go to.
Yeah.
And like his family wanted him to go to. So like that one makes sense. Gonzalo Ramos is interesting. And they also, I think Yao Neves is like a done deal to go there as well. So that's another young Benfica Portuguese player that is going to be there, and who knows what'll happen. Next thing though, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is heading to West Ham. West Ham making a lot of good underrated moves.
Yeah.
Wan-Bissaka obviously probably not good enough for Man United anymore.
Yeah.
But he's good enough to start for West Ham.
Is he good enough to play against Manchester United?
Is he healthy enough to play against
Manchester
Manchester United?
All depends if he's on the same side as Anthony. Then it's just kind of...
Well, yeah, because then you don't have to do anything.
Just watch him.
Yeah. You just stand in front of him like 5 feet away and he'll never get close to you. But what's very interesting about Wan-Bissaka going to West Ham is that Man United was waiting for this to get done so that they could give an offer to Bayern for Nusser Mazraoui, which I think would be a
Who's
phenomenal...
Maserati?
Nusser Mazraoui.
Gotcha.
Believe he is Moroccan.
Okay.
He's a fullback.
Okay.
For Bayern, who has been very good and I think would actually play very well in the Premier League. So he would be an interesting.
I know
one to
who
watch.
that player is.
You know what I'm talking. It's just the pronunciation doesn't exactly.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say it instead of reading it.
Always wish he got his shot at Bayern, but Davies is there.
Yeah, that was the big problem, was between Davies and like when Kimmich was playing right back a lot, like he just never got a chance.
Yeah.
Man United also pursuing PSG's Manuel Ugarte.
Love that move.
I would love that too.
Yeah.
Also, why has Casemiro not gotten sold?
I know. He's been in their preseason.
I know.
He's in America playing.
I know. He needs to be in Saudi Arabia right now.
Just collect the bag and
please
retire.
Just give up on that one. West Ham, once again, making more moves. I don't know why West Ham seems to be the topic of today, but they offered a deal to Nicholas Füllkrug from Dortmund. So
that would be such an upgrade from Mikel Antonio.
Yeah, there hasn't exactly been, like, there's not like a full agreement, but Füllkrug has voiced his opinion that he does want to go to the Premier League. And if West Ham is his entry, I'm sure he would take it.
Ooh, wow. That would be a really good move.
Yeah, I agree. And Füllkrug, we've talked about this before, but like he kind of just like showed up out of nowhere at Werder Bremen and then got this move to Dortmund. I don't know if he was exactly ready for Dortmund, at least with like how much talent there is on that team.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was exactly ready for all of that, but like he's held his own. And then he also held his own in the Euros as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which I was happy with for him. So I think after the Euros and like his second half of the season for Dortmund, he earned himself a move out to somewhere where he wants to play. And it seems like he wants to play in the Prem. So West Ham, he's probably he's not going to score 20 goals next year if he's at West Ham.
No.
But he might score like 13.
Yeah, which would be great for West Ham.
Yeah,
and on top of that, you're getting a striker who started in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a huge upgrade.
Yeah, he'll never have to do that again.
No. No. He'll be a Conference League merchant.
Yeah, dude. He might get he might, they'll come in third in the the Europa League group stages so that they can play in the Conference League.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Leipzig have rejected Barcelona's newest bid for Dani Olmo. They keep rejecting their bids over and over again.
Yeah.
And they've given them some pretty good offers. I think the last one I saw was 50 mil and a player.
Damn.
Not a good player, but a player. I don't even remember his name, is why I'm saying that.
I wonder what Dani Olmo wants.
I think Dani Olmo wants out of Leipzig, but it's going to take it needs to be an opportunity where he's still going to play a lot.
Yeah.
And I think he wants to play in Spain.
Why could I see Manchester City?
Maybe. He fits the mold for sure. He definitely would fit in Pep's system.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. That would be interesting. That was one of the teams that was interested at the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
Was Manchester City and Arsenal were the two big ones, which I guess both of them have Spanish managers, so
yeah,
kind of is fitting. The next one, though, Nico Williams is likely to reject any move out of Bilbao.
Wow. That's big news.
That is huge.
Yeah. Because I know Kirk Correa was even trying to recruit him to Chelsea as well. Wow.
Yeah, so Nico Williams does not want to leave Bilbao, is what the reports are saying.
Good for him, though. I mean, Bilbao, they came off winning the Copa del Rey, I'm pretty sure, last season. They still have a decent team.
Yeah, they do.
So
they do, and it's crazy because there is literally only Spanish players on that entire team, which is crazy.
If he wanted to, he could go anywhere and make
go to
a
Barcelona
shit
fucking
ton of
right
money.
now. Literally, they could agree on something in the morning and he would be gone.
Yeah, literally.
But it seems like he doesn't want to. So
Fair
we'll
play.
see. I respect that.
I respect it. Yeah.
But at some point, it will be you have to leave.
Yeah,
If
eventually.
he keeps being this good, he has to leave.
Yeah.
Because Bilbao, yes, I respect the fact that they only go for guys from the Basque region, but it's rather limiting.
Yeah. Give them up, guys.
Yeah, I like I said, I didn't get much, so that's all that I had for transfer news. I do want to mention though, I did see something. Thiago Alcantara has retired.
Yes,
and has become a coach for Barcelona. He's an assistant coach for Barcelona.
Wow,
which is interesting because Thiago Alcantara played for Pep Guardiola at Barcelona, then played for him at Bayern, where Hansi Flick was his assistant coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pep Guardiola left. Hansi Flick stayed at Bayern. Now Hansi Flick is the head coach of Barcelona and hired him to be an assistant coach.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's networking, people. That is networking.
Yeah. It's all about the people you know.
Yeah. Ethan, did we ever get questions?
No.
We did not get questions.
But Orlando Arcia just hit a solo home run.
Oh, sick.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Yeah, so Nathan did not clutch up.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's unfortunate. Ethan, you got any questions?
I was asleep and late for this, so no.
Yeah. That's fair.
One more bit of transfer news. Chelsea have finally got the ball rolling on Victor Osimhen.
I did see that.
Napoli wants 70 million euros plus Lukaku.
That's not bad at all.
No, and
that's
Lukaku...
pretty much just 70 million euros.
Yeah. And Lukaku's the 5th or 6th highest paid player in the Premier League, so that'll be good
off the books.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I know, but I don't know if I'm really excited about Victor Osimhen that much anymore. I know that sounds crazy, and it sounds like I did a 180, but I feel like his hype kind of diminished a little.
I think what hurt him was the Saudi interest.
Yeah.
I think the fact that people thought he really he wanted to go there. That was his first choice.
Yeah.
Definitely hurts the interest in him.
And the Napoli TikTok thing wasn't great either.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not good at all.
No.
And he didn't have an outstanding season last year.
Yeah.
He's still riding the hype of 2023.
Yeah.
Which is not great.
But we still need a striker though.
Yes, you definitely.
And I would be happy with Victor Osimhen.
Yeah. And Lukaku needs to go.
Yes.
Finally needs to go. Yeah, I don't really have anything. Can anybody in the room think of any questions that we might want to ask as questions time?
What do Chelsea and Newcastle need to do, or what can they do to finally I guess for Chelsea get back to where we belong, for Newcastle finally make that push to what you guys I think deserve with the money and the players y'all have brought in. So what do both teams need to do in your eyes?
Well, it's tough. I'll start with Chelsea. I think with Chelsea, you need to find consistency over the course of years. That you guys just have not had that in so long.
That's very true.
and you need like a consistent team and manager to turn over. Like have a lineup and use it all year and then do it again. Like obviously there's things that will need to change week in and week out. But there needs to be like a standard Chelsea. Like there is a standard Manchester United, which is crazy to say.
You're right. Yeah.
There's a standard Manchester United lineup that we would look at. There is a standard Man City. There's a standard Arsenal.
Liverpool. Yeah.
Like all those teams that consistently stay at the top, consistently look the same.
Yeah.
When they're under the same manager. Now, is Liverpool going to look the same? No. Fuck no, they're not.
Yeah.
Like, sure, Arne Slot could do something really cool with Liverpool and they could reemerge as a great team. But you don't just get rid of Jurgen Klopp and all of a sudden stay the same.
Yeah.
So
very true.
That's not going to happen. But if for Chelsea, in my eyes, it's just you got to see consistency over at least just even one full season.
Yeah.
Like, and it doesn't even have to be success. I just need consistency. And then I think they would be ready to go. Like they would be ready to like figure everything out, get a manager that will be there for more than a year.
Yeah.
And like go.
I couldn't agree more because I have two main responses to that. One thing is players need to stay healthy.
Yeah.
That's another way you stay consistent is you have the same players that are healthy.
That's a point for Newcastle as well.
Yeah. The second thing is I don't think people realize how stupid Chelsea are to have fired Pochettino.
Yeah. Also, do you guys have 8 goalkeepers right now? Did I see that correctly?
I
heard that there's 8 goalkeepers on Chelsea right now.
I know of 3.
Okay. Ethan, do you mind looking up? Just look up 8 goalkeepers.
We have
Chelsea.
Selenia, who's American, Roberto Sanchez, and then Petrovic.
Well, you guys just signed somebody else. I know that for a fact.
Oh wow,
young player. I saw something about it. Okay, yeah, they have 8 goalkeepers. Can you bring them up on screen?
I'm just seeing like TikTok.
Yeah, that's fine. You can pull up a TikTok. Yeah, I saw this like earlier today, maybe yesterday.
You need 8 goalies for?
I don't know.
Are there 8 goals on the field?
No. That is coincidentally, I believe, more than your leading goal scorer scored in 2020.
Probably. Yeah.
It doesn't have subtitles.
Okay.
I can find it somewhere.
I swear I saw it on Twitter, maybe
Yeah.
Instagram.
Transfer News Live.
It probably is Transfer News Live. That's my go-to. They tweet too much. Here we go. Here's some news. Fulham are interested in signing Diego Carlos from Aston Villa. That's not happening. Fuck off, Fulham. You can be interested all you want. That's not happening. Yao Neves passed his physical.
Thanks.
There you go.
They'll have a goalkeeper born in 2005.
Really?
Wow.
Damn.
Mike Penders.
Yeah. I think he's the new signing. Yeah, you guys have 8 goalies right now. Which is interesting. Yeah, here we go. That's what I saw. Yeah.
I forgot about
Kepa.
Bettinelli. Oh my God, Kepa's back from loan.
Yep. Petrovic, Bergstrom, Beach, Jorgensen, and then that new signing in the bottom right.
You know what's crazy is like you loaned Kepa after winning back, his place as goalie in the team. I've talked about that so many times on this podcast. You loaned him to Real Madrid where he got no playing time. Literally, Courtois got hurt and they went to Leon.
Yeah.
And he
was really
did
good.
great. Yeah. Not so great in the Euros, but
yeah.
And now like Kepa's coming back to us cold.
Yeah,
I
and
honestly
they might send him
think-
back out.
I think he's the starter.
Petrovic?
Yeah, and if not,
He
him,
looked
it's gotta
good
be
late in the
Kepa.
season last year.
Yeah, he did for sure.
Yeah, too many goalies.
Eddie Beach. Eddie fucking Beach. It's almost as bad as Oscar Bob.
Yeah, that's
Who had
bad.
a sick goal in preseason, by the way. He like dribbled
I'm
through
not
everybody.
surprised, dude. I can't, Oscar Bob is my lifelong nemesis. Like he might never start in the Premier League,
Oh,
and I will hate him forever.
West Ham might sign him.
I wouldn't be surprised. They're signing everybody.
I know.
They're signing all the rejects. Then again, Manchester City rejects don't hurt.
Yeah, that is true. So again, back to that question: why do you think? What does Newcastle need to do to become like top 6, top 5?
Newcastle needs to first of all get more consistency from their fullbacks. Kieran Trippier is probably leaving, which isn't great. I love him, but like it's not. I don't think it works totally. Like chance creation, phenomenal. Defense, not that great.
Yeah.
And then I can't stand Dan Burn. We've talked about this so many times.
Yeah.
I think Tino Livramento has more than earned a starting spot in this team.
Yeah.
It's just they're not willing to give it up to Kieran Trippier, who is world class. I'm not saying he's not. He is amazing. Or a lifelong Newcastle fan.
Yeah.
Bro, get the fuck over it. Get him out of the team.
Yeah.
We need... Once again, it's hard to say like, oh, I don't want Fabian Schär because, man, do I love it when he just scores from like 25 out.
Yeah.
But also, why the fuck are you that far up the field every goddamn time?
Yep.
For as many as he scores, he sure as hell misses a lot and is not in defense when we need him to. I absolutely love Sven Botman. Nothing that he could do that would make me hate him.
Yeah.
I think Nick Pope is phenomenal. Can't wait to see him come back from injury fully. He was a guy that like last offseason I was like, oh yeah, he's winning the Gold Gloves. Like he was the guy, but he got hurt way too early in the season.
got the new kickoffs.
What?
They have the new kickoffs.
Oh, holy shit. Okay, yep. This is a live reaction to the
wow.
first ever dynamic kickoff in the NFL. Yeah, that shit sucks. This sucks dick. I hate that. Nope. Switch it back. I don't like it.
We're gonna have a full season of that.
Yep. Every time. Tell me this ain't some pro bullshit, bro. That is pro bullshit.
Dude.
Fuck out of here. Like, okay.
Devin Hester
Now-
just blew his brains out.
I don't need the fucking Toy Story version, dude. Now, bring up the video of them actually doing it again. Let's do some film review here. Okay. So, all of the receiving team's blockers are off balance when they go to block immediately because they all have to step back.
Yeah, they're
essentially.
backpedaling.
Yeah, you all
Do they
have to backpedal.
to be at an angle like do they?
I don't think so, but
Is
that's
that
best for lateral movement.
Yeah.
But like you see that like
Fucking
there
just
are
put all your
guys.
corners out there and just have them track on the hip.
Yeah, I guess, but okay, start the video. Now. Let's see, and you have to wait to move until it's caught,
Yeah.
which I also don't like all that
Landing
much.
zone?
Yes, that's the landing zone. You can still have touchbacks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but they kick from the 35, correct?
That's all
Okay, I know. I'm trying to make sure that we've got everything right. So they're still kicking from the 35. There's a landing zone, so you can't kick shorter than that.
If
What
I'm
does
a
that mean?
kicker, I'm just gonna kick out of the
Yeah.
end zone and not have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I guess who's a NFL
Look.
kicker and not making it into there?
Let me
Yeah.
make an argument that might. Okay, but this
20
argument.
yards.
Yeah, this argument might not be popular. I don't need people taking back kicks.
Yeah.
Look, it happens like twice a season,
cool
and
to
it's
see.
real fucking cool.
Yeah.
When it starts happening 10 times a year, I'm not going to give a shit.
It's like a no hitter.
It's like a safety.
Yeah.
It's going to happen as much as a safety. I don't care. Congrats, bro. Like, you scored. But it's not exciting.
So they run back.
Yeah, so they all go
And
back
then they
like
just
5 yards.
turn, like 5
Yeah,
yards
and they have
out.
to turn. Yeah, like I get it. So like you're essentially engaging at the same time, but you're all backpedaling. Nobody is meeting at the front.
Yeah.
That's what sucks. And so like the blocking essentially by the time the
having to pass
return man,
block.
yeah, they're
Watch these
pass
guys.
blocking.
Literally watch like these like 3 right in there. He
Yeah.
kick stepped.
Yeah. No, like what are we gonna do? Pick up like you just gonna draft tight ends to be on special teams?
I mean that's what they usually do.
I know, but I'm just saying like are you gonna put fucking 9 tight ends on the field? Because
That
you
makes
need guys that can move but can block. Like, what are we doing here?
Watch this guy gets put on his ass.
And I'm sure that'll happen a lot because he's off balance.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah.
backpedaling.
like, bro, it's like how? Okay, Ethan, you're an offensive lineman.
I am.
How often are you blocking when somebody is running full speed at you from 5 yards away?
Quite often.
No, but like you're not just like you're standing like you're
That's
ready
how I
for
got a
it.
concussion.
Yeah. That's fair. But like you're never running backwards, turning around and
I mean, I'm
blocking.
not running backwards. I'm pass setting. But
Yeah.
Yeah, but that means that you're ready for somebody to impact you from the front.
Yes.
These guys are some of them were standing backwards on the kickoff.
That's kind of a that's on
That's
them.
dangerous as fuck.
Yeah. But I don't know how that would work.
Dang. How about the new uniforms though? Change of a better subject for
Those
you know,
Texans uniforms are fucking great.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
They do
kinda
look
like
really
the Falcons almost.
good. Yeah,
in a
I
way.
like the shoulder.
Yeah.
The shoulder that kind of wraps around the front. I like that.
So when are we taking to the streets and rioting and looting? Because this absolutely sucks.
Yeah, no, this is ass.
Here's a better angle. So
This is like
turn.
this is the type of shit that you see in the Pro Bowl. Like that's when you test these things out.
Yeah, the dude that got
Nah,
put
that's
on
too
his ass is
dangerous.
standing straight up,
Having
looking
people return kicks.
at his.
Is that guy
plate.
offsides? His heel is over the line.
Oh, call it back.
Is that offsides?
Who?
I don't know how that works. The middle guy facing backwards on the receiving team.
This one?
Yeah.
I mean, they're all on.
That's the one that got put on his ass.
Yeah, but his was over the line at first, but he picked his foot up. Is that
don't think his
offsides?
heel was ever
Is
down.
there offsides? I don't know how this works at all.
He's ready though. Like he's just turned
Yeah,
back to him.
yeah. I'm gonna be interested to see how teams perfect.
Oh, that's the guy that got
this.
put on his ass.
Of course.
that I said that like 4 times.
Yeah. I'm so locked in on finding things that I hate about this. Yeah, I guess that there is a much higher chance
Yeah,
that
watch
like
this guy. That's
look,
literally
if-
a kick step. Like,
yeah. Yeah, number 1 there on the
Right
4?
here.
No.
Second one.
Oh, the second guy. Okay.
Watch. Pushes right off that foot.
Yeah, that is a kick step. Very interesting.
Get Trent Williams out there.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting through that.
I guess if that guy didn't blow his block, he could have made something happen
Yeah.
there. But it's like
He
If you
kick
didn't have his
stepped and
teammate thrown into
I'm
him,
okay.
he ended up blocking.
If there is more than 7 kick returns for touchdowns, I'm gonna be mad this season.
I agree.
That's too many. It needs to be special.
This also just looks goofy.
Yeah, it
Looks like a
doesn't
punt.
look right.
But
And then,
really
like,
far punt.
What happens to the kickers? Are they just there to
They're
get
just
blown the fuck up
they're
by
just
a
the
return
last
man?
line of defense, I guess.
Yeah,
If you break free, you are golden.
yeah.
Like,
I'm very interested about the landing zone thing. Like you
Yeah, I don't
can't
get
kick
that.
it shorter than 20.
who's gonna do that?
I don't know, but like what happens?
mean,
Does that
now
count
they-
as out of
I
bounds?
guess is that why they can now declare? They have to declare the
Yeah,
onside?
they have to declare an onside, which is
Which-
so stupid.
It's not going to
hate
change
that,
anything,
dude.
but
It's so dumb. What is it? As long as you're doing it like before the second half of the fourth, or like
It's
before the 2-minute warning.
it's just
Something
in
like
the
that?
fourth. It has to be in the fourth.
Oh, okay. So anytime before the fourth quarter, you have to declare it.
No, you have to be in the fourth to have one.
Oh,
I mean, nobody's using them anytime before.
yeah, but you could.
you could.
No
Fuck
more,
around and do it
no
out
more
of the
Chris Boswell
halftime.
Rabona kicks anymore.
Like,
Yeah. No more Young Waku specialties.
Yeah,
Okay, well that was a fun way to end the episode.
that's horrible.
I want to
That
see.
sucks.
I want to
dick.
see how
I hate this.
easy it could be if you just break free. Okay.
Okay.
And all right, you find a gap, you're good.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's just great.
Yeah, like
grass and a
dude, yeah,
kicker.
okay, let's say that 32 right there on the kicking team. He doesn't actually like
Say he comes.
say
off
he
the edge,
engages.
well, he goes.
yeah, if he engages and that guy on the receiving team gets the block.
don't need to play zone coverage.
Yeah. Like you literally have to have zone.
Yeah. There's
Or you're
no
fucked.
reason you should rush.
Yeah, but like I want to know what NFL special teams coordinators think of this.
They're
Yeah,
probably shitting bricks.
Yeah, dude. They're probably like, I'm gonna lose my fucking job. I used to just like send a bunch of fat guys out there.
yeah. Let 'em run
All I
at
had to
each
do
other.
was be
Send
like,
out my linebackers.
yeah, all I had to do was look at the depth chart and be like, okay, these numbers are third stringers. Get the fuck on the field.
Yeah.
You know what to do.
Linebackers, safeties,
Yeah,
and any big skill, get out there.
exactly. Yeah, I hate this. I hate it so much.
Like, bro, if you just
This is the
Gets
shit
through
where like you see it
any
happen in the
gap.
preseason, you're like, oh, they're not gonna put that in the real game.
Yeah,
he gets any sort of gap.
Yeah,
he's
like, no,
so
this
good.
is- this is
this
like
is his
a-
only problem.
This is like a Madden mini game.
yeah.
Yeah. This is an evade drill.
Yeah, I hate this.
That's even the zone.
And if that landing zone graphic is on there every time, I'm gonna fucking.
I don't even.
I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is the first time it's happened, so I'm sure that's why they had it there. But like, that's. I'm not happy right now.
Wow.
Okay, well, we're gonna end the episode right there. Stop stalling, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate you guys listening week in, week out, twice a week. For those that I really respect. If you really respect us, you would like, subscribe, and comment here on YouTube. Turn on post notifications to see everything that's coming up. Obviously, like we said, we're not going to have a regular weekly Wednesday episode, but every now and then there might be some content to make. So, we'll always keep you updated, of course, on the social media accounts, which you can follow. They're all here at the bottom of the screen. Obviously, join the Second and Short subreddit, r/2ND A&D short, so we can avoid another shit show like today where Nathan failed us. And you guys can submit your questions for us to answer instead of answering Nathan's because he is clearly inconsistent.
It's because he probably ran out of names to name it.
It could be.
This time.
It could be. He was stressing out about the names, never got the questions in. And then, of course, for our podcast listeners who are still listening on the audio platforms, once again, I encourage you to watch on YouTube because it's way more fun time over here. And either way, though, rate 5 stars. Follow us there. If you've already done it, undo it. Do it again. Helps the algorithm. Luke, anything for the people?
Nah,
before you get
man,
out of here?
we can head out of here. But that kickoff was bullshit.
Yeah, that sucks. One more week of Luke in person.
Yes, I know.
Unfortunately.
I'm gonna go back to school.
Yep. So we'll be going back to remote once a week. Colin will still be in person.
Yep.
Speaking
Stay tuned
of
for
Colin
that
being in person,
webcam.
we have to record early this week, and then he won't be here next week. So maybe we won't be getting Colin either. But I'll still be here, and I will see you guys on Monday. Luke will see you guys next Friday. We'll catch you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.